What's up, guys and gals? Sanitary 103, always encouraging clean eating and a clean and healthy lifestyle. So today's video, I wanted to talk about this whole concept of bulking. Now, for people that don't know, bulking basically means eating on purpose, purposely eating a surplus of calories above your daily maintenance in order to put on muscle. A lot of people call this, a lot of bodybuilders and physique competitors call this the off season, where they consume a lot of calories, they put on a good amount of size, they do put on some fat, and then they hope to, when they get close to competition, they go into their dieting or cutting season, and they decide to go on a diet, strip as much fat as much as possible while maintaining their muscle gains. Now, in order to pack on muscle, you definitely do need to go on a bulk. You need to be in a surplus of calories in order to pack on muscle. And specifically for this video, I'm talking about the natural athlete, non-enhanced, okay? No steroids, no anabolics. So you could be working out all you want. You could be working out hours per day, lifting a lot of weight, getting stronger. But if you're eating not as many calories and you're not fueling your body, and you're eating like a bird, you're not gonna pack on muscle, and that's where bulking comes into play. So essentially, if done properly, you do need to go on a bulk if you wanna put on muscle. Now, there are exceptions such as the honeymoon stage, the newbie stage, newbie gains. The newbie gains basically mean you're new to working out, you haven't lifted a dumbbell in your whole life, and then you start lifting weights for the first time and your body reacts really, really well. Your body responds to the stimulus, the muscle fibers are breaking down, and within a few months, without even going on a traditional bulk, you start to see results and you're like, whoa, this is good. But with the exception of the newbie gains, once you start working out even longer and you get past that newbie stage, the honeymoon stage, you're gonna eventually plateau. And most people, when they do plateau, that is when they decide to bulk. So there's nothing wrong with bulking as long as you do it the right way. Now, I'm sure if you type on YouTube, there's a ton of health and fitness channels. There's a lot of guys having bulking meals, they call it, and there's guys that are not tracking their calories, and they're basically getting sloppy. They're eating a ton of extra food, and some of these guys are making an excuse to eat bad and say, oh, well, I'm just bulking, it's not a big deal, okay? I can have this whole pizza, okay? I'm not gonna count my calories, my proteins, my carbs, my fats. I'm not gonna count my micronutrients. I'm just gonna, oh, it's all right, I'm just gonna have this. Oh, a little ice cream sundae, I'm gonna have that. While the person is probably getting bigger and filling out their shirt and getting more size, if you start to put on too much belly fat, that's when it becomes a problem. Now, backtracking a little bit what I was talking about with the whole newbie gains. Now, this applies to both males and females. Now, for males, and I'm talking about the natural athlete, the non-enhanced athlete, no steroids, no anabolics. For a male, because we produce more testosterone than a woman, for the newbie gains, you might expect 1 pound, 2 pounds, and that's pushing it, of pure muscle, not fat, not water, just pure muscle gains per month. And that might last 6 months, 8 months, up to a year, give or take, probably even less. And for a female, you might be lucky to put on ½ pound of muscle per month. Once you get past that newbie stage, it's gonna get even harder and harder to put on muscle. So once you get past this newbie stage, and let's use an example, let's say you've been working out for over a year and a half, and you've plateaued, this is where the problem lies. After that first year, second year, third year, the longer you work out, it's harder to set PRs, it's harder to put on muscle. But some guys have this idea in their head that, oh, I'm gonna be able to pack on 2 pounds of muscle a month because I did it in the beginning, so why not now? So let's take, for instance, example, a guy named Bob. He's been working out like 3 years. He weighs 150 pounds, and he goes into the bulking season, and he gets up to about like 190. Now, they may be excessive, but there are guys that put on 30, 35, 40 pounds. Now, of that 40 pounds, after that whole year, let's say he bulks and he gets up to 190, then he begins to diet. How much of that 40 pounds do you think was muscle? Now, once again, like I mentioned, this guy named Bob is past his newbie stage. Of that 40 pounds, who knows how much of that is gonna be muscle? During that bulk, you won't even be able to determine how much it is unless you take an advanced like test they have at hospitals, which most people can't afford. Or the other way is to actually diet down And then once you diet down, and then you compare yourself when you strip the body fat, what you look like after the whole cut compared to the beginning, then that's when you're gonna have a better idea of how much muscle you put on. But of that 40 pounds, basically a couple of pounds might be muscle, and all the rest is gonna be pure fat. And the more fat you have, the lower your testosterone levels go. And the lower the testosterone levels go, the harder it is to put on muscle. So you're making it even more challenging on yourself and putting on unnecessary fat. So you might be asking yourself, how do you bulk properly? What do you do? Now, before I go into that, I did want to quickly talk about my personal experience. I did bulk 2 times. I did it in 2012, and I basically, was eating about 75% clean for the most part, but towards the end, it started getting sloppy. I will admit it. And then I did it again in 2014 before I did a transformation photo shoot video. And I didn't get as sloppy there, but I would say in hindsight, in retrospect, I would say those 2 or 3 extra pounds of fat that I put on, none of that was muscle. On the scale, my weight went up, but my muscle didn't go up. My measurements were the same. So basically it was unnecessary fat. And let me tell you guys, from a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being me having a really fast metabolism, 10 being a person who has a fast metabolism, I'm right around, I would say, like an 8, 7.5, 8. It's slowing down a little bit because I am a little bit older now, but my metabolism is pretty good. And even when I dieted down for my photo shoot, my transformation video, it got really hard. And what got hard? Those last 2 or 3 pounds. So if you're a guy who doesn't really have that fast of a metabolism, and you go on this crazy bulk and you just use it as an excuse to eat a bunch of junk food, you're gonna be in a world of hurt, okay? You might have to diet 4, 5, 6 months just to get down to where you are. So my suggestion on how to bulk correctly is first find out what your daily maintenance is. If you don't know what that is, it basically takes into account your basal metabolic rate, and there's a Harris-Benedict equation. I'll put a link to a calculator in the description box. Now, these calculators are kind of like a rough estimate, so you're gonna have to experiment a little bit. Once you get that caloric number, that magic number based on your activity level, and you break down the proteins, carbs, and fats, let's say it's 2,000 calories. Then what you wanna do is you wanna go maybe gradually above your daily maintenance. I would recommend only about 250 calories per day, no more than 500. 3,500 calories up or down. Deficit or surplus is gonna be 1 pound. So if you just eat 250 calories gradually, just a little bit above your daily maintenance, then in 1 week, you're gonna be averaging about a half a pound weight gain per month. And this is what you want. You wanna do it gradually, okay? It's not a sprint. And then the other thing you wanna do is experiment with that, and then always use the mirror, okay? Look in the mirror and gauge how you look, okay? If you're eating a certain amount of calories, right, and it's only 250 and you still look really lean, go ahead and slowly bump it up to 350 calories above your daily maintenance. I wouldn't try to go above 500 unless you're an extreme ectomorph and you're really skinny and you're just skin and bones to the T. You could probably get away with a little bit extra calories, but in general, just eat a little bit above your daily maintenance. Look in the mirror, and if you feel like you're putting on too much belly fat, you might want to scale back on the calories, reassess your macros, look in the mirror, and then also focus on your workouts. Are you getting stronger? Take measurements of your body every month or so. Okay, that's gonna be another great indication. If you're bulking and you're working out and you're not making any strength gains, power gains, PRs, your measurements are the same with the exception of your waistline getting bigger, you're just getting fat and you're not really bulking season. It's basically fat season. That's about it for this video. I know it was a little bit longer than expected, but there was a lot of information that I wanted to express to you guys and convey. Hopefully this was useful, and make sure you don't go down that wrong path. Comments and questions are always welcome. Be sure to also subscribe to my channel for all the latest in diet, health, and fitness, if not already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. And my mind and my body was telling me that I need some time off. The last time I took some time off, complete time off from the gym, was last October when I went